Spicy Frank's Red Hot Spicy Bloody Mary mix is the key to an elixir for life. It's got some kick into it. You can add a little extra spice. I've got the olives in there, got some jalapeno, and I've got some pickled asparagus. It's down in there. I don't want to go like digging for it, but it's in there. So cheers to everyone after a great college football Saturday. Really one of the first weeks where we've seen and had some questions answered about some teams we were wondering about. If you've been watching this show, Sunday Bloody Sunday, or the Matt Barrie Show presented by Allstate here on the ESPN College Football YouTube channel, you know that I've been high on Tennessee because every year we talk Tennessee football, we talk Tennessee offense, and rightfully so. Josh Heupel, since coming there, we saw what he did with Hendon Hooker in years past, and now with Nico Iamaleava, that maybe Tennessee was kind of a sleeper team because we didn't really give them playoff. I don't want to say, we didn't really even give them playoff consideration coming into the season. It was always Georgia, Texas, Alabama, Missouri, Ole Miss, even LSU is getting playoff love. And now here you have Tennessee after going into Norman and winning 25-15. You have to look at Tennessee, at least I am, and put them in the conversation now with a lot of football left to play. But if you look at the SEC big picture, Georgia's still going to be the talk of the town. Texas is still going to be the team that we talk about, even with Quinn Ewers out until their schedule gets really tough. I would install Tennessee behind Texas, above Alabama, and we'll learn a lot about the Crimson Tide this week in their huge game against Georgia. But based on what we've seen this season, man, Tennessee's good. They're playing defense. They've got a young quarterback. They believe that they can win big games. Dylan Sampson runs the ball well. Cheers to good old Rocky Top. Hoo! Rocky Top, Tennessee. Big win on the road against Oklahoma. And so we kind of had that first team where we're really starting to get the idea of, pay attention to them. And I think the country will after the win against Oklahoma. So cheers to everybody at Rocky Top. Man, it was a wild day for some unpredictable finishes. Staying in the SEC, Missouri, they needed overtime, double overtime to beat Vanderbilt 30-27. We had a college kicker situation. Eli Drinkwitz and company escape, and they survived 30-27. Cheers to our friends in Columbia, Missouri. You probably didn't want to deal with that, but you did. And that's the beauty that I'm starting to realize about college football in general. We love the sport. It's the greatest on the planet. But when you really look around the country and some of these games that otherwise may have been blowouts in years past, you're starting to see the parity come together because of the transfer portal and because of NIL. I know the big programs are still going to have the most talent. I just rattled off a bunch there in the SEC, but you add in Ohio State, you add in some of these other top 10 programs that have a lot of NIL resources, they're still going to have the most talent. But whereas they may have been able to stockpile talent before that wasn't able to go anywhere, if you were a four-star or a kid that may not have played a bunch at a bigger program and you want to go play, you're transferring out to other places to get immediate playing time. And I really believe that's why you're seeing some of these games that otherwise years past wouldn't have been close. I mean, it's insane what's going on with some of these group of 5 teams yesterday. Memphis goes down to Navy. That's got nothing to do with NIL or portal, but that's just one of those games where Memphis rolls in off of Florida State, and then they go and get hammered by Navy. Blake Horvath, by the way, cheers to Blake Horvath. Got another helmet sticker on a college football final. He's having a great season. App State gets absolutely pummeled in our game on Thursday night against a team in South Alabama and Major Applewhite. Toledo just comes off beating Mississippi State. They go down. NIU goes down. I mean, it is wild out there in some of these games that you don't normally expect any entertainment out of. And the group of 5 is going to be fascinating to watch down the stretch. So, little tangent there about the parity in college football. How about BYU late night? If you're a sicko, you're watching that at 1 a.m. on 38-9. BYU at home gets the win. The Big 12 is going to be like this Bloody Mary. It's going to be spicy and drunk all year because there is just top to bottom. When you look at that league, BYU, Kansas State. Kansas is a disappointment. I think Arizona is a disappointment. Texas Tech beats Arizona State yesterday. Oklahoma State, we thought was going to be a top of the league. They still might, but they get beat at home by Utah 22-19. Isaac Wilson, starting quarterback. I don't know when Cam Rising is going to play football again. He's hurt. He's got the hand injury. But he goes in there. He gets the win on the road. Cheers to the freshman quarterback, Isaac Wilson. Probably not drinking, but either way. So we're starting to learn a lot about what the league is going to look like. And it's interesting when you look at newcomer relative to storied program in the past. Now, newcomer Utah beat storied Big 12 veteran Oklahoma State. Tennessee, though, veteran SEC team, beats newcomer in the SEC Oklahoma. Same story in the Big House with Michigan holding off Big Ten newcomer USC 27-24. And I'll say this about realignment. Right now, it's exciting. Like right now, everybody was excited to see Michigan and USC. It had the colors of a Rose Bowl. It was a beautiful day in Ann Arbor. It wasn't in Pasadena. It wasn't at the Rose Bowl. It wasn't on January 1st. It was on September 21st at the Big House in Big Ten country. And it was exciting to see. It was like one of those non-conference games we get excited for at the beginning of the year. But at some point, it's like, I'm a traditionalist. I'm one that believes that it should be a Pac-12. That ship has sailed. But it was fun to see it yesterday as Michigan went to Alex Orji at starting quarterback. He had 32 yards passing, by the way. I believe that was their fewest yards since 1987. But they got the win. And Sharon Moore, that's a big one. 2-2 is much different looking than 3-1. And now maybe they understand a little bit of who they are and what they're going to be. But a huge win for Michigan and Sharon Moore. And speaking of huge wins and just the cheers of life on Sunday Bloody Sunday, can we pause and give love to the Florida schools yesterday? Miami, by the way, that second half that they had was amazing. The second half they had in their game against USF. But the cheers goes to Billy Napier in Florida, on the road, Starkville, getting a win. Graham Mertz looked really, really good. And then the story that swept social media throughout the week, like I think it was Cal Twitter or whatever the hell it was, and it just kept showing up in my timeline for no reason. I didn't ask for it. It was just there. But Florida State finally getting their first win of the season. We were going to give them the team sticker on College Football Final, but we figured they'd yell at us all day. Cheers for Florida State. I mean, again, it's not a football Picasso, and it didn't look great, but fact of the matter is Mike Norvell in Florida State got their first win of the season. So look, a win is a win is a win. You're not going to turn it down. You're not going to critique it, especially when you're Florida State this year, you're going to take it. So whereas last week, it was death and destruction with the Florida schools. Florida and Florida State got their first win of the year. And I will leave you with this on Sunday, Bloody Sunday, the show where we drink, commiserate, laugh, and love. Deion Sanders and Colorado do it at the end. Now, I'm not going to take away from what Colorado did.